Hey guys, it's Biddle here, just to clarify. And today I'm bringing you something new and something different. I got back into a draft league. As you all may or may not know, I am currently a gym leader on one of the PocketPixels servers. I'm on their blue server, and some of the blue staff and older staff, we decided that we wanted to start a draft league. So we have made our own draft league. And we've just finished the draft, and I'm going to go through and kind of analyze my team, show y'all what I drafted, and kind of what order I drafted it in as well. So, without further ado, I will show you all the Tennessee Volbeats. And so, first off, the way the draft worked was, obviously it's Serpentine, so the first pick would get pick 1, and then starting in round 2, the last pick would get the first pick. And so I was the very last pick of the draft. So I was 16. There's 16 teams. There's 18 teams, I believe, right now. And I had the last pick of the draft. So that means I had the wheel pick. But I had to wait a whole bunch of picks before I could even choose another. So the goal going into this draft was to draft something very offensive, and I wanted to draft things that were very close to me and that I knew I could play well with. And so a couple rules to keep in mind is that we also drafted Z crystals. Well, we drafted with having Z moves in mind. We were also allowed a mega that we could use, and we are not allowed to Dynamax. So there's no Dynamaxing allowed or Gigantamaxing allowed in this league. So we're kind of doing Gen 8, but with the Gen 7 rule set. So, number 1, without further ado, my first overall pick was Necrozma. And so, Necrozma is one of those Pokemon that I feel like is super versatile. You can run it just about any way you want. You can run it with Trick Room and make it slower. You can run it Swords Dance, Physical. You can run Calm Mind Special. It gets access to Dragon Dance now, so you don't have to rely on Autotomize. I think Necrozma's got such amazing coverage, good setup, and I can run it really however I would like. So Necrozma is something I'm very, very familiar with. I love the Pokemon, and so I wanted to draft Necrozma. I knew for sure. Necrozma is also my offensive Z move user, so it can use any offensive Z move. So it could use Z Photon Geyser if it would like. And so with my second pick, so obviously I had the wheel, so I couldn't be sniped my next pick regardless of what I wanted. And so coming into the draft, I had an idea that I wanted to draft Necrozma and this other specific Pokemon and run them together just to see how they would do. And that specific Pokemon was Kyurem Black. And Kyurem Black's an absolute offensive monster, right? It's got great physical attack. Its speed could use a little bit of help, but it is a very hard-hitting Pokemon. This is also my Universal Zmon, so I can run Z Hail on this thing if I wanted to, let alone just nuke anybody with a Z Freeze Shock as well. But I wanted to pair Necrozma and Kyurem Black together just to see what would happen. And I'm very, very excited for how this is going to turn out. And so, like I said, there's a whole bunch of picks in between here. And so my third overall pick was something new that I wanted to use. I had this idea kind of after I drafted Kyurem Black was I ended up choosing 6 or 7 super offensive mons and then wanted to try to round out the rest with just some lower tiered picks. So my next pick was Cinderace. Cinderace is a Pokemon I've never used before. It gets Libero, obviously, with the ability to change its type like Protean. This is a very fast mon. It's got a huge physical attack, and it gets pretty good coverage as well. You can run it as a Scarf user. You can run it Expert Belt. You can run it just about any way you'd want physical, and it just presents a huge offensive threat as well. And so this is also my third Z Pokemon, so I can use offensive Z moves on Cinderace as well. And so I needed something to pair with Cinderace. Normally, whenever you do a draft league, there's 3 types that you always want, or there's 2 specific type combinations you always want to draft. You want to draft a Fire, Water, Grass, and then you want to draft a Fairy, Dragon, Steel. So obviously I've already got my Dragon type, and I've already got my Fire type within the first 3 picks. And so next I needed a water type, and I had this type in mind as well. And it's what it was allowing me to get 3 tier 1 Pokemon. So I had to draft a lower tier Mega, and that lower tier Mega is none other than Mega Blastoise. And I think Mega Blastoise is kind of an underrated Pokemon. Oh, and also, just as a note, so Mega Blastoise cannot have Shell Smash, and I cannot run Dragon Dance Kyurem Black, just as a heads up. So we put those rules into place just so it'd be a little more balanced. But regardless of not having Shell Smash, Mega Blastoise can be ran both especially offensive, and it can be ran as a tank. It can be ran as a physical or a special mon that can tank hits. All the water type moves that Cinderace might take, or all the ground type moves Cinderace might take, Mega Blastoise can handle no problem. And so I wanted to get a little bit of bulk on my team, because right now it's just pure offense, I feel like, with Kyurem Black and Cinderace and Necrozma. And also I needed something special. So Mega Blastoise kind of fit that pretty well. And so then again, we had a whole bunch of picks go through, leaving me with my 5th overall pick, which I was also pretty excited about, was Tapu Koko. And this is another Pokemon I have not used before. It's also a very fast mon as well. So I have 2 really fast Pokemon in Tapu Koko and in Cinderace. And so Tapu Koko is going to take all those electric hits and some grass hits that's going to come Mega Blastoise's way. So with these 5 picks here, I really wanted to try to synergize as best as possible and still keep as much offense as I could. For those of you who don't know, I mainly play offensive. I like my teams to be very offensive. It's just what I'm used to. And so Tapu Koko gives me that option. He gets Dazzling Gleam, you get Thunderbolt, I get Electric Terrain as well, so that's something that I can abuse. And I think Tapu Koko is going to fit really well on this team. My next pick is a pretty versatile one. I picked Silvally. And Silvally I can run with any type that I would like. And I've used Silvally once before. Just the benefit of being able to bring whatever type I want each week, let alone it being in tier 3 in our draft, made it worth drafting for me. Because right now, as you can see, I don't have a grass type, which I did draft one later. But if I ever needed a grass type, I could put Silvally, bring Silvally grass or something like that, and that could be my 6 already. Silvally being able to change types just gives me a lot more versatility. It also will throw my opponents off guard because they don't know what type of Silvally I'm going to bring. So that was the idea in mind. Party Shot's always helpful as some pivoting options, especially give me good options to even set up with something like Necrozma or Kyurem Black as well. And so next I drafted Dusclops. This one's a little interesting to me. I wanted some more bulk on my team, and I also didn't have like I didn't have anything that could take priority moves, and so I was going after some immunity here as well from like extreme speed and Mach Punch. And so I decided to draft Dusclops. Dusclop is fairly tanky with an Eviolite, and it just gives me another option as bulk. That's really about all I drafted it for, was I needed some more bulk. But right around here you can kind of start to see where I really spent a lot of thought trying to draft a good front like 6, and then just kind of fill in some gaps here or there with some lower tier stuff. Because pretty much I had drafted, so after Silvally, I was only allowed to draft tier 4 and tier 5 mons the rest of the draft. So after Silvally, these will all just be tier 4s and tier 5s. So after Dusclops, I wanted to draft Smeargle. Baton Pass is banned in this league, which is fine. But Smeargle gives me so much versatility. If I need to set up hazards, I can bring a hazard set. Smeargle just allows me to get super creative with whatever I want. And having that versatility, like I had said with Silvally, it's great for throwing off opponents. Like for example, I'm going to have a week 1 battle coming up soon that I'll end up recording. And so who knows if I'm going to bring Smeargle, and if I do, who knows what set it's even going to be. Well, is it going to be hazard stacking? Is it going to be something that no one's ever seen before? And that's the beauty of being able to run whatever move I want to on Smeargle. And so now my next pick after Smeargle was Alolan Sandslash. There was only one reason why there's two reasons why I drafted Alolan Sandslash. Reason number one is that I have a Cure in Black that has the ability to set up Hail, and so I needed something that could abuse that, and I also needed a Steel type, and Alolan Sandslash fit both of those for me. So if I ever wanted to just bring like a Hail Kyurem or something like that, I can bring Alolan Sandslash with it, be able to set up a Swords Dance and straight up abuse that Hail. It's got good offensive prowess. Other than that, it's about it. Needed a Steel type to round up my Fairy Dragon Steel core. Pick number 10, I drafted Honchkrow. Again, I only drafted it because I needed an immunity to ground. So, yeah. Nothing much really to say about it. It gets Moxie, Sucker Punch, hits fairly hard from the physically offensive side. It's really about it. Again, all I wanted was a little bit of priority and a immunity to ground. Pick number 12 was Appleton. This is another mon that I've never used and actually really never heard about for Draft League as well. I needed something, again, a little more bulky. I needed a grass type, so I drafted Appleton. It has fairly decent special attack, and it also has a good HP stat, and that's really about it. And something else that could work well is the ability to abuse Trick Room. And so Necrozma is one option that I can set up Trick Room with, and Appleton could be one of those Pokemon that I could use to that I could bring in on Trick Room and just start hitting things hard. And that was the other idea with my last pick as well, was Girder. Girder with an Eviolite is quite bulky, and it can also hit very hard with its Sheer Force and Sheer Force Guts or even Iron Fists. Girder's a good offensive middle of the ground type Pokemon, and it can also do well with abusing Trick Room. And so this is the draft that I had come up with. I'm fairly happy with it. There was a couple of mons that I had really wanted that ended up getting sniped from under me. Like, instead of Alolan Sandslash, I would have really liked to have a something like Steelix. I thought Steelix would have been a great fit on this team. But then again, when people started getting down to the tier 4 and tier 5s, there's a lot of things that got sniped very quickly, along with some grass types. Like, I was looking at drafting Virizion at one point, and that got taken away before I was even able to get to it. But really, I've got a decent mix of both. Again, most of my mons are physical, and I've got a couple of special ones here and there as well. But overall, I really like this draft. I think I can surprise a few people with the amount of sets that I can bring, especially with having Smeargle and Silvally and the amount of versatility that they have. The mons I'm most excited to use would probably be Necrozma. I'm very excited to use Cinderace because I've never used a Cinderace before. Appleton, if I decide to bring it at one point, that would be interesting to use. But overall, this is the squad for the Tennessee Bowl Beats. Let me know what y'all think about my draft in the comments down below. And stay tuned. Don't forget to stay tuned to the channel as well. I'll have my draft battles recorded, and I will actually try to record them live as well. They are going to be on Showdown, and so I'm very excited for this. Week 1 is actually this week, and so my battle should be happening fairly soon. I've already got a team prepped and ready. My goal is to kind of just go through the team, here's what it's going to do, and then go into the battle, record the battle live, and then try to upload it, and you all can get my thoughts as well. So this is my squad. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below what mon do you think is going to do the most work against the rest of my teams. Let me know what you think, And that being said, I'll see you all in the next video. Deuces. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, click on this one, which is probably similar. Or you can click on this one. This is what YouTube suggests. And then you can click on my smiling face to subscribe.